Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Build and Scale Boldly podcast, the podcast for purpose-driven female entrepreneurs who want to grow their businesses with more profit, more ease, and more impact. I'm your host, Dr. Leti Alto, a physician, entrepreneur, and real estate investor, and today we're going to be talking about the first 5 steps to take when starting a business. Now, I know a lot of you are early on in your business journey. Maybe you have an idea, maybe you have some inspiration. I really wanted to do a podcast this week to help you be able to start your first business. Now, most of us don't have MBAs. We don't have any formal business training at all, but we have this great idea or a passion or a wrong we see in the world that we really want to right. And we have this business idea, but we're just not even sure where to start. If that's you, this episode is for you. So today I'm going to give you a simple framework, and I'm doing it in 5 steps that will help you go from idea to something real that you can start selling without getting stuck in analysis paralysis, which is where a lot of people get stuck and a lot of businesses never get launched. And I want you to remember that with this whole episode and with your business in general, the goal is to make progress, not perfection. And I want you to remember with this episode and with your business in general, the goal here is to make progress, not perfection. So if you've been thinking, I want to start, but I don't know what to do first, and that's been holding you back, know that you are not alone. But you don't need a 40-page business plan, and you don't need to know the next 20 steps. What you really need is clarity, a simple offer, and the courage to put yourself out there and take that next step. And that's what we're going to talk about today, where I'm going to share with you what really works and what those 5 things are that you can start now to be able to build your business. So here's where I find a lot of people go wrong in starting their business. They chase trends. They started to talk to everybody, get a lot of different opinions. Maybe they try to build something really huge without even putting themselves out there, or they never clearly define the result they're going to deliver for their customer, and things actually end up falling apart even before they get any traction. These are some of the biggest mistakes I've seen new entrepreneurs make and what I want you to avoid. So I'm going to try to simplify the path here for you. And in these 5 steps, I'm going to show you how to start your business. So they are: number 1, decide what you're building and why you're building it. Number 2, choose exactly who you're going to serve. Number 3, get crystal clear on the problem you solve for your customer and the result you deliver to them. Number 4, create a simple beta offer people can say yes to. And number 5, validate your business offer by putting yourself out there, even ideally before you build it. And if you do these 5 things, you're going to be ahead of where most people are who quote unquote, start a business and stay stuck for years. Now, I want to note that if your business that you're dreaming of making is actually an in-person clinic, there's going to be some modifications you're going to make to the framework we're talking about today. So for example, I'm going to be talking about putting a beta offer out before you even built it and kind of making the offer. Now, if you're doing an in-person clinic, you may have the opportunity to start selling a membership before your clinic even starts. Or you may actually start running your clinic in a portion of your building that's ready, and doing it in a limited way before your whole clinic is ready to go. So there are some modifications you can make, but just listen to this framework and see if there are some things you can do ahead of time to start bringing in some cash and to start really validating your idea before you go out and create all the pieces and everything's quote unquote perfect for you to get out there. So let's dive right into step 1. Step 1 is decide what you're building and why you're building it. And this is all about purpose. It's about your why. Now, let me say something important. Your purpose does not need to be poetic. It just actually needs to be true for you. Your purpose is your fuel behind your business, and it's what's going to keep you going months from now or years from now when there are challenges like an algorithm changes, or you didn't get traction immediately and you have to pivot, or you feel like an imposter, or somebody important to your team leaves. Your why is your fuel that's going to keep you going, keep you persistent long term. And one of the biggest mistakes I think entrepreneurs make is start chasing trends or doing things that they think are going to work as a business idea, but there's no meaningful why behind it. There's no real passion behind it, because that's going to ultimately, if there's struggles along the way, you're just going to want to quit or you're going to want to abandon it. But if you have that strong why and you really identify with it and get a clear vision of it initially starting out, it's going to help you move along the way and have the chances of being a lot more successful in your business. So what are some prompts you can do to find your why and to really tap into your why? You can ask yourself, what do I light up when I talk about? Or what do I believe that's wrong in the world that I know how to right and I know how to improve? Or what impact do I want to make in the world? What do I want my legacy to be? What do people come and ask me for advice all the time that I love talking about and I love sharing what I've been able to figure out that has helped me? Or what can you work on for hours and hours and hours and don't even notice, meaning you're in flow with that? Well, if you can't answer these yet, that's okay, but it does mean that you need to sit down. You really need to think about it, because what you want to do is you want to get very clear about your why of your business and what your business is about before you go and you start taking a lot of action, because you'll take unfocused action and it won't help you move forward. And the real key here with starting a business is making sure each action you take is completely aligned with what you want to be building. Step number 2 is all about choosing exactly who you serve. And this is called your ideal customer avatar, or ICA. And you really want to have clarity on your ideal customer avatar. It's somebody who really needs what you're serving or needs what solution you have. And without your ICA, you really can't craft compelling messaging. You're not going to know where to go find your buyers. You're not going to know how to partner strategically. You're not going to be able to create an irresistible offer. So you have to have the clear vision of who you want to serve and who your business is going to serve in a lot of depth before you move forward beyond this step. So how do you think about your ICA? Well, you want to think about who you're going to serve and be very, very, very specific. So you want to think about their age range, their life stage, their job that they're working on, their income range, what they really love and what they hate, what they've already tried. Maybe they tried some of your competitors and what didn't work for them, where they hang out online, or what are the services they use in their real life. You want to think about their fears and you want to think about their desires. What do they really want? Spend some time crafting your ICA with a lot of clarity, because that's going to help you, again, do all the other pieces of your business. If you don't do this part right, it's really hard to talk to your ideal customer avatar, and you'll find that you try to talk to everybody, and by trying to talk to everybody, you talk to nobody, and you're not going to be able to attract the right clients to your business. Now, one of the mindset shifts that new entrepreneurs often have to get around is, if I choose an ICA and I'm so specific and I only talk to that individual, I'm excluding a lot of potential buyers. And the fact is, yeah, you are going to exclude some of them, but it's going to give you traction a lot faster, and it's going to make you known for something very specific and for serving a certain population. And they're going to read your messaging, or they're going to see your business, and they're going to know exactly, yes, that's exactly what I need, and that's for me. And when they get that response, you're going to be able to convert at a totally different level. So by trying to be everything for everybody, your business is not going to get traction. You really have to narrow down your ICA and who you serve and what you do for them in a very, very clear way to allow your business actually to really have movement initially and be able to gain some traction and be able to build. If you don't do this step well, you're going to find that you hear crickets and nothing happens. Step number 3 is about defining the problem you solve and the result you deliver for your ideal customer. So now you have your ideal customer, you know their pain, you know what they desire, you have that in a lot of detail. Well, you need to define the problem that they have that you're going to solve and the result or outcome they're going to get by working with you, because you need to speak in their language to understand where they're going to be, the transformation from where they are now to the transformation of where they're going to be. Now, a lot of women get stuck here because they describe what they do. They describe the benefits of their offer, the benefits of their business, but they don't state the outcome for their ideal customer avatar in a way that's really compelling, and they don't explain to them the result they're going to get. And so your job as a business owner is to really identify the painful problem that your ideal customer avatar wants to solve and the desired result they want instead. So what are they going to switch to? And here's the key. The problem needs to be painful enough that someone's willing to invest time or money to be able to solve it. Now, a lot of us start businesses based on our own pain points that we've then solved. So, at least with an N of 1, that, somebody like you has had that pain and is willing to do some work to be able to solve it. What you now need to know is that it's motivating enough for a lot of people to want to do that. So questions you can ask to clarify the problem is, what's the most frustrating problem they're facing that you can solve? Or what's keeping them up at night? Or what's costing them time or money and they've tried to solve it before and it didn't work? Or what would they pay to have solved? Those are some of the questions you can ask yourself to clarify the problem in a way that you're going to be able to communicate it. You should also ask yourself questions to clarify the desired result that they want. So what transformation do they want? What do they want their life to look like after it's solved? How do they want to feel after this is solved? And then, what we teach at Biara is we teach you put it all together in a bold business statement, which is, I help blank people who are struggling with blank problem to get blank the desired result. So it's, I help people who are struggling with a problem to get the desired result. And that's like your statement of what your business does in a really succinct way. And it identifies your ICA, it identifies the problem that they have, and it identifies the desired result that they want. And it's a really clear way to communicate in one sentence what it is you do and who you serve. Now, I've given you a lot of information here, but I think it's probably worth giving you an example to help make this a lot more real for you. So when I first launched Semi-Retired MD, I really thought about who I was serving, which was doctors, and namely a lot of physicians just like me who had the same problem as me, which is they felt a lack of freedom. They felt like they didn't control their time, their schedules, and they felt like they had dreams, they had desires of travel, of spending time with their families, of watching their kids grow up, but they didn't have a way to have that financials to do that, and also the time freedom to be able to do that. And so for me, I kind of clarified that down. I said, okay, my ICA is going to be physicians. They're going to be in their mid 30s to mid 50s. They're going to have kids just like me. They're going to have this pain point of not enough financial freedom, not enough time freedom, and feel really trapped in their jobs. And they're really going to want to move to this desired result of having financial and time freedom, being able to be there with their kids and being able to travel. So I had real clarity on who I was speaking to. And so all of my messaging reflected that. And when I showed up, that's what I talked about. And I was lucky because it was me, it was my story that I was able to communicate to individuals who were just in the same situation as me. Now, that may not be the case for you in your dream business, but even if it's not the case for you, there's still a way to tap in to your ideal customer avatar and really understand the pain and the desires from their perspective and be able to communicate this really, really well. So hopefully that puts those first 3 steps together where you're identifying, why you're building your business. That's your purpose. So this is really about you and your passion. Number 2, who you're serving, your ideal customer avatar. And number 3, the problem you're solving for them and the results you'll deliver. Now, step 4 is to start putting yourself out there. And this is one where a lot of people get lost and they really kind of hold themselves back, and they're nervous to put themselves out there. They're nervous about failure. And so they don't ever take action on their business. So this is really, really important to put out your first real offer. Now, you don't need a full website. You don't need a logo. You don't need the perfect funnel. You just need to create an offer that's going to be irresistible to your ideal customer avatar because it's talking about their pain, it's giving a solution that's going to give them their desired result. So I would highly encourage you to create a beta offer. At least think about how you could create a beta offer. And a beta offer is when you communicate what you're going to do with your business and you start to see if there's traction and there's interest. And so what we often do with our businesses, because they're online businesses, a lot of them, is, we'll put out an offer and we'll kind of see the response. If you have a clinic, again, you might put out a membership, or you might put out an initial offer, or maybe you serve a smaller group of patients right in the very beginning. And what you're doing is you're making sure that you have traction, making sure that your offer gets more and more irresistible. You're going to probably pivot over time so that people, are silly if they don't say yes and you have the demand. And so what you really want to think about, again, is a specific result you deliver for your ICA, and that should be covered in your beta offer. your unique process or approach. There's probably something that's an X factor about what you do or how you do it that differentiates you, and you really want to be able to communicate the difference that makes the difference. So I would add that into your beta offer. Like, why is this different from anything else you've had in the past or tried in the past? How long it takes to see results. So people want to know how much time it's going to take for them to, engage with you and then see some level of results. And it doesn't need to be the final result. It can be a level of result or change along the way. What's included? So this is the benefits or the features. But again, this is, while important to include, is not the number one. You want to show them the outcome they're going to get as a result of using your offer. The price, and then also how you reduce risk. So if you have any testimonials or you have a guarantee of some sort, you put it in there. So it's really those 6 pieces that need to be part of your beta offer. I'm going to repeat them again because that was a lot. So your beta offer should include the specific result you're going to deliver for your ICA, your unique process or approach, how long it takes for them to start to see results, what's included in that offer, the price, and then how do you reduce risk for that offer so that they feel confident saying yes and moving forward, because they know that the risk to them in paying or taking this action is very low, and they can always, get out of it if they need to. Now, one of the keys with this one is to go out and do it. Like I mentioned, a lot of people get stuck here perfecting their offer and they never put anything out there. And if you don't put something out there, you don't have a chance to iterate and to realize that maybe this didn't work. You got to pivot. You got to try something different. So get your offer out there, see how it works out, make sure you iterate and make the messaging better, make sure you make all the pieces clear, make sure you're really focusing on the outcome that they're going to get by working with you, and get some demand going so that you can start to bring in some money in your business and you can start to really build out and deliver at a high level. Now, step 5 is validating your offer by selling it. And we kind of mentioned it a little bit in that last step. But the ideal here is that you do that before putting a ton of resources in it. So that can be before you build it. If it's an online space, you can go and you sell an offer and you build it as you deliver it. If it's a clinical practice, it may be a little bit different. But ideally, what you don't want to do is, spend a year building your offer, putting all the pieces in place. You've spent your time and your money, and then all of a sudden you put it out there and it doesn't work. And now you have a lot of stress and a lot of pressure to change that offer, and to do so under that kind of pressure cooker environment. Ideally, you put an offer out there, you get feedback, you change it, you make it better, and then all of a sudden you're getting some traction, you're bringing in some income, and then you have that opportunity to continue to build from there. And so I'd really encourage you to, number one, you got to put that offer out there. Sometimes people get stuck. They never put it out there because they're oftentimes afraid of failure, afraid of what that means about them. But as a business owner, you really have to understand failure is part of the journey. You're going to fail. Even if you're 10 years in, you have a successful business, you're still going to fail at times. So failure is part of the journey. Failure is how you learn. So put the offer out there, accept that you're going to fail sometimes, and accept that you need to pick yourself up and pivot. This takes us back to why your purpose is so important in step 1, because you have to have that purpose in place to keep yourself going. So get that offer out there. And then again, figure it out along the way instead of investing tons and tons of times and resources into something that actually was never going to work. You got to figure it out early, and then you have to pivot and turn it into something else. In a previous podcast, I talked about the business you're in right now versus the business you need to be in. This is how your business shifts and changes. You figure out something doesn't work and you change it and you change it, and you end up in a different business 5 years from now. That's part of the journey, is that pivoting and flexibility that you need to have as a business owner to really serve what your clients want, what your ideal customer avatar wants. And that can change over time, as I've mentioned in previous episodes. So serving your ideal customer and giving them the outcome and the result that they really desire is going to be the key. And if that changes, well, your offer is going to change over time as well. I've covered a lot in this podcast, so I just want to take a moment to summarize. So you're a completely new business owner with an idea. How do you go start your business? Well, there's some things you can do this week just by setting aside a couple hours uninterrupted to really think and do some of these activities. So what I would suggest to summarize is, number 1, sit down and write your purpose in 1 to 2 sentences. Why is it so important for you to do this business? What's the impact you're going to have in the world? And really get tied to that emotional why. Number 2, identify your ideal customer avatar in one short paragraph. What do they love? What do they hate? Who are they? Where do they live? Really identify all the details of them so you can speak to them and they know that you understand them. Number 3, identify your ideal customer avatar's pain and desired result. What is the pain point that they're dealing with, and what do they really want as their result or their outcome that they're going to get by working with you? And you can craft your business statement by saying, I help blank with who feel this way or who have this pain get this desired result. Then draft your beta offer in just a few bullet points and try to make it irresistible. Make sure the messaging is very specific to your ideal customer. Make sure you have all those components we talked about a little bit earlier. And then share it publicly, okay? Put it on the internet, put it in an email to your friends. Put it out there so you can start to gauge interest, so you can see if there's demand, so you can start to get feedback and iterate if you need to. Those are those 5 steps. You can take them again in just a couple hours of focused time. The real risk here is you say, okay, I don't have all the information, or this needs to be perfect, and you don't put anything out there. And what that really is doing is it's denying the world the opportunity to be able to interact with your business, be able to get the desired results that they want. They might go work with somebody else who really doesn't care about them, who can't help them get the desired results that you know that you can. So remember that very, very clearly, that if you don't put this out there, and this is really something you can help people with, it's a travesty, and it's your moral obligation to get yourself out there to help people the way that you know that you can. Now, if this episode helped you today, I encourage you to go to beyara.com and grab some of the free resources we have available for business owners to help you build and scale your business. Especially the AI resources might be helpful for you if you're just starting out your business and you want to know how to use AI to help you be able to build it faster. Finally, I want to make sure you've listened to this episode. Let's take action on it. So put some time aside in your calendar right now to be able to do these 5 steps. Maybe a couple hours this weekend. If it doesn't happen in your calendar, it's not going to happen in real life. And so putting aside the calendar, really prioritizing this, it's going to be so important to be able to have you take action and not just have this knowledge, which is potential power, but actually turn it into something real. If this episode gave you some clarity or some understanding of how to build your new business, make sure to share it with another female entrepreneur who needs to start a business or has a really great idea and just needs a little bit of motivation. And if you know another bold woman entrepreneur who's out there who could benefit from this podcast, make sure to share it with her. Let's normalize growth. Let's normalize ease. Keep dreaming big and keep leading boldly. And most of all, keep building a business and life that you love. I'll see you next time.